Welcome to the Keep It Cute Show. I'm Dakia.
And I'm Sabrina. This show is all about talking about real issues, real situations, real people while keeping it cute.
Yes. So I got my drink. I'm drinking some Cabernet. I'm a whole wino. What you drinking, girl?
I'm just taking it slow today. So I'm drinking a white blend.
Yes.
Hopefully that gets me, through this.
Keep it mellow. Keep it cute. Keep it cute. Yes. So some of you may recognize us and know that we were on a show called Ready To Love Potomac on the OWN network.
Mm-hmm. And since meeting, we've just grown close. We just have an organic friendship. We've been able to talk about life, love, health, business, like everything. We've had some real serious conversations, some real fun conversations, and we're just about bringing those conversations to you.
Exactly. So this first episode, since you know us from Ready to Love, we're going to talk about Ready to Love. We're going to give you some behind the scenes information. We're going to dispel some rumors that y'all have.
Definitely that.
You made up some rumors. Y'all are creative. Okay. We're going to answer some of your actual questions and then just kind of talk about it from our experience of how it was actually being on Ready to Love Potomac. So you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first question for you. We first pulled up to the mansion mixer. What were your first thoughts on the ladies and the men?
Okay, first thought of the ladies, because we're in that parking lot area.
Yes.
And so I'm seeing each lady kind of randomly. We're not lined up. We're not all in the same room. And each time I saw a lady, I was like, oh, she cute. And we all had different styles, different flares. I thought that everyone was beautiful in their own way. Yeah. And I would say everyone was welcoming for the most part. For the most part. I would say, what was there, like 7 ladies that day?
Yeah, we had 7.
I'm going to say 5 of the 7 were really nice. Like, most of the people were like, oh, girl, you look cute. Or, hey, girl, let me fix your dress. Or, you know what I'm saying? Everyone was, there was 2. They were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like,
I want to know which 2 you're talking about, but I guess we'll keep it cute. I won't ask those questions yet. You going to answer?
I don't care. So I remember being behind stage because the makeup artist just saw that we were struggling.
Yeah, we were.
And decided to touch up our makeup and touch up our hair because it was humid as hell that day. And so I'm waiting in the behind the scenes area and I remember seeing Joy for the first time and me being like, hi, I'm Sabrina. And her being like, I'm Joy. Steak out the gate. Out the gate. I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And whenever I deal with that type of energy, I just kill them with kindness. I'm not going to adopt your, negativity or whatever the hell you got going on. So I was like, all right. Kept it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You kept it cute.
I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? I guess taking the competition very seriously. It was it's day one. So that was that one. And then the second one I would have to say was Ace. But Ace wasn't stank. She was just... she just seemed really guarded and I just felt like the energy there, I just couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, there's something there that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what it was, but she came across as sweet, but I very much got what you see is not what you get.
That's interesting. See, I didn't get that at all from Ace. I loved Ace from the beginning. I loved her serenity almost. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, but don't get me wrong, I wasn't like, ooh, something wrong with her. I was just like, that was interesting. But gave her a chance, and throughout this season, her and I talked a little bit, invited her to my house. Remember, I invited all the ladies to my house. I invited her to my house and stuff. So it wasn't like I had issues where I just felt like what I was seeing, there was much more there. And then it turned out there was a lot more there. And she was the battery in someone's back, and that's the reason why he blew up on me. But we're going to keep it pushing.
I didn't have that same experience with Ace. I love Ace. But yeah, your first impression of one of the other ladies of Joy, I definitely got the same one. It was definitely known from the beginning what the mission was. So, I mean, to each their own.
Not pleasant.
What did you think about the guys?
With the guys, actually the first so funny now in retrospect, but the first person that I saw was actually Tori, because I was once again behind the scenes getting my makeup and hair done and waiting, and he was pulling up to the mansion and he hopped out of the car and he was doing his intro scene, and I was peeking out of the garage. The hair's in the garage, y'all. I was peeking out of the window of the garage, and he was the first person I saw. I remember being like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really I thought that the guys were nice. I thought that they were all over the place in terms of looks.
They were definitely a variety pack.
And I was like, oh, they're all different shapes, sizes, ages, everything. I was like, oh, okay. The first person to talk to me was Laverne. Mm-hmm. He gave me his seat.
Oh,
yeah, he was very sweet about it.
Laverne was always a gentleman, always making sure that people had food, because we didn't have a lot of food on set. So he would bring food. He was always taking care of us.
Yeah, I was the last person to walk in. So everyone was already seated, grouped together, coupled up and everything. And here I come. I'm like, oh shit. And he was the first person to see me be like, oh no, come sit here. Aww. And I just remember being so grateful because I was like, oh, how do I like bust in the conversation to like introduce myself? So he was really sweet. And then like the first person to catch my eye was Demetrius.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you?
I was the first lady to walk in. My first impression of all the guys was that it was definitely a variety pack. And so each guy was coming in one at a time. So I remember just always having my head on a swivel, like, all right, who's coming in next? All right, who's okay? He all right. Well, who's coming in next or whatever? I definitely.
If that would be you, an inattentive date then.
I probably was. I probably was an inattentive date. But no, like some of the guys really caught my interest. Most of them caught my. Oh, I lost an earring, child. So. Like I was saying, like I thought that all the guys were interesting. Some of them I found more attractive than others, but some of them I was like, okay, maybe their personality is dope. You know what I mean? Maybe their personality would kind of make up for the lack of initial attraction. But yeah, I thought that it was a good starter, but I was a fan of the show from day one. So I know that there's typically 10 ladies and 10 guys. So like I said, my head was on a swivel trying to see who's coming in next, and I'm like counting like. We only see 7 dudes.
We started short,
We're the other 3, because I like to have some options. I like to have a little sampler platter. But, so I was excited, but I was like, all right, we're only starting with 7. But, you know, I was excited that we brought in some curveballs later on. Some proved to be not giving a little more curve. But yeah, so it was my initial impression of the guys were that it was a good variety. Some were more attractive than others, and but it was a good first day. That day was long. That day was so long. We started at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We didn't finish until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So that scene where we're all leaving outside in the grass that night, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. It had been every season in that one day. It was hot as a mug. It was humid. It started raining. We got chilly at night.
It got cold, yeah.
Oh my gosh. We had a little bit, our hair, we didn't have touch up, so our hair was looking crazy. Our makeup was looking crazy.
Yeah.
So what you saw.
We only had scheduled bathroom breaks.
Yes.
It was craziness.
Scheduled bathroom breaks. So what you saw was the very first day, us going into it completely blind, not knowing what we're getting into, being hungry, being cold, being tired, and being just like, what are we?
But honestly, that was like a good indication of how the rest of the season was going to go.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it was always like, hurry up, get here, and wait. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were always like being rushed to get to set. You got to get to set. We're about to film, and then you'd be on set waiting for hours before they actually got started. You know what I mean? So they'd call you. Your dates were always in the middle of the day. It was never like an evening date. It was always like, you know, your date's at 11 a.m.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, your date's at 12. You know what I'm saying?
In Virginia.
So you're like up at like 8 o'clock trying to get ready for your date and stuff like that, and you'd get there, you know, at 11, and they'd be like, okay, now wait, and then you wouldn't even get started till like 2.
Yeah.
So that was a good indication. We didn't know it that the rest of the season was going to be like that. The hurry up and wait. Yeah. No food.
Hungry.
No nourishment.
But we did drink. We definitely, they made sure that they provided a lot of alcohol to loosen us up, but sometimes I think that made some people a little too loose.
And there was a point in filming where I felt like people started to like grow bonds, meaning like friendships, like girls became friends. We all kind of became cool with one another. And so people were behind the scenes drinking, chilling, you know, turning up a little bit. So if you see that people are kind of a little like out of it, that's probably because they were kicking it on set.
We were waiting for a couple hours, you know, we had to kill some time.
Right, yeah, so that's definitely what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember like Laverne and people would show up with like food for us.
Yes.
That was sweet.
Yeah. Like I said, Laverne always took care of us.
Yeah, it was like, he'd come and he's like, I ordered Chick-fil-A for everybody.
Yeah, so Laverne got a bad rap with a lot of things, but one thing I can always say about Laverne, like he took care of us ladies. Yeah. So shout out to Laverne.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes we wouldn't know if we were going to have food for the whole day. He would bring Chick-fil-A, he would bring Subway. He made sure I had something I could eat because I don't eat meat, so he made sure that I had something that I could eat. So We appreciated that. A lot of the guys, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of the guys were amazing and just good dudes. Like Tori, I love me some Tori. You know, Tori is my favorite. Tori was at my wedding. You were a bridesmaid at the wedding. But we'll talk about the wedding on another episode. But Tori, amazing. Wiley, I don't even want to go into all the names, whatever. I don't want to leave anybody
and
else.
And they still show up.
Yes.
They still show up. They still show up and support you.
Cousin Cornbread, Cornelius, our Potomac Cornelius. Like, we love all of them.
And while we were on the show, I felt like whenever we would show up, whenever we would film, the production, like they would always be like, Sabrina, come, and the Q, you come too. And so we were like in a lot of scenes together.
We were side by side a whole lot.
Yeah, seen and unseen, I should say. Like we were always like kind of paired together, like along the journey. And I think that kind of also like helped us foster a relationship, you know.
And we still together.
I know.
Exactly.
So, getting to the dispelling of the rumors.
Ooh.
I want to start with you.
Okay.
Because you had a big one, which was like, why didn't you self-eliminate? I think that was like a constant theme in like some of the reactions. Was like, why didn't you self-eliminate? Did you just want to make it to the end? Like, I think that was like a common comment around you. So, what do you want to say about that?
That comment I saw a lot. And let me tell you, I tried. I tried to self-eliminate. By the time we got to the getaway weekend, I was done. The writing was on the wall. I saw what was going on. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. I think you and I were both like in one of the rooms talking about it. Like, okay, we're ready to go. But you know I love you. But you beat me to it. Like,
I did. I was not playing. I pulled the producers to the side of the getaway. Like, I'm done here.
Yeah. So
I'm done.
You self-eliminated before I could. Yeah. And at that point, a lot of people had already left. Ace had left. Tina had left. You had left. Like, at that point,
Eric was gone.
Some by choice, and some
voluntary, some involuntary.
So at that point, a lot of people had already self-eliminated, so they wouldn't let me self-eliminate. But truth be told,
because they want to salvage the show. They like, y'all all can't leave. We got to finish this show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I can understand that, but from my perspective, my love is here. Paul and I had a good time, on those days. At that point, it was like, all right, they just keep sending us out on dates. We are friends, but the love connection isn't there. But they wouldn't let us in. They wouldn't let us leave. They wouldn't let me self-eliminate it. I wanted to self-eliminate, y'all. I do have some self-respect. I was not trying to make it to the end. I was not trying to cash a check or get a check from the show. They don't pay that well in the first place. So actually, we lose more money on the show than we actually make.
Yeah, we get like a stipend to help offset the expenses because hair, makeup, meals, gas. Everything it's on you, but they give you a stipend to help offset the cost, but it's nowhere near the actual expense. So
especially if you're having dates all over the DMV, like DC, Maryland, Virginia, for those other parts in the country. The DMV technically is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So we might have had a date in the morning in Baltimore, had to go to DC to film a ladies' lounge, and then go to Virginia for a dinner that night. So we were all around the area. So we spent a lot of money on gas. We spent a lot of money on food, hair, makeup, clothes. Y'all talked about our clothes a lot too. But hey, we had to try to figure out. We didn't see what didn't work. So you guys are seeing every episode and like, oh, I hope she do something different next week. We filmed 3 episodes that one day. So you're going to get the same look for all 3 of those episodes.
Yeah, and we also didn't know what we were doing when we showed up. So, I mean, toward the end, I felt like some of the producers, because we were like, yo, don't have me showing up to a bowling alley with heels on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give us some information. So they started to cut us a little slack and kind of give us like a little, okay, it's a casual date. It's a more fancy date, like toward the end. But we would just show up. And so we were learning to bring 4 outfits.
Yes. My trunk, it was like a little storefront. I had clothes, shoes, makeup, like toiletries, like accessories, everything was in my trunk. Like I was living out of my trunk. Snacks, my little rice cakes and granola bars.
Girl.
Yes. Okay. Rumor for you.
Ooh, okay. Let me take a sip.
Okay, yes. So the rumor that I saw a lot about you was that Sabrina was stringing those dudes on and that you broke my good friend Tori's heart.
False. All false.
Okay, dispel the rumor, sis.
I mean, like, the purpose of the show is to date multiple people. So there's no stringing anybody along. We're all signing up to date multiple people at once. And the fact that, like, you know who I'm dating and I know who you're dating. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, I'm going to be honest with you, there was some reluctance in like choosing somebody because I had reservations about all of them. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that when a woman is reserved or kind of like hesitant, I think she gets beat up on because there were other people who were kind of like dancing a little bit, like Clifton. Clifton was dancing a little bit between you and Joy for a while, but that was okay. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm dancing a little bit, it's like, oh, she's like indecisive and she's this and she's that. And it's like, no, we're dating.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, it's the point of the show. And as far as the Tori thing, I'm glad you brought that up because I felt like the show dragged that out. Mm-hmm. It dragged that out so much to even the point where like Tori and I had talked about it off camera, and then we were like telling them we're cool, and they were like, well, you need to have the conversation on camera so that the audience understands where they're at. And we were both like, it's not even necessary.
Yeah.
So sometimes I felt like the faces or the mood that you saw us in or the mood that you saw Tori in, it wasn't that he was like emotional, he was just irritated. He was like, I gotta talk about this again.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like sometimes the filming hasn't necessarily caught up with the actual status of the relationships. Because you guys gotta remember, we're talking, we're texting outside of filming. So the relationships are moving forward or they're ending, but the last thing they have filmed may not have been the last conversation. So they want you to go back and revisit the conversation. So I felt like by that point, him and I were both irritated. Like, can we just move it forward?
Yeah.
And so when he was, when it was time for his elimination, he was ready to go too. Mm-hmm. He was tired of it. Yeah. Like by the retreat, so many people were tired of it, but he was one of them as well. Like he was also tired of it. So
yeah, he absolutely was. We were just trying to hang out and have a good time at the retreat. He was just trying to make it through.
Yeah. So yeah, he was not heartbroken. He was irritated with production. I think he felt like he saw it coming. He saw the narrative that they were trying to write early on, and I think that that's what was kind of like the issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Tori. Love you, bro. Another point of conversation.
Oh God.
The reunion.
Oh God.
What was, everybody's always asking, what was going on with the reunion?
The reunion, I felt like, you know what's so crazy is that the reunion like was filmed 2-3 months after the show had stopped.
Longer than that. The last time that we filmed was on Halloween. Like I filmed my exit with Paul on Halloween. And we filmed
Could at least had y'all dress up.
I know, right? But we filmed the reunion like late February, something like that. It was sometime in February.
Yeah. And so it was. I felt like people were revisiting emotions. I felt like people went in with an agenda to like correct or address whatever issues that they had because they knew it was their last time to do it. And I think that some people were triggered. Just to be in all honesty, they were triggered. They were like, I'm going to tell you how I felt because it's the last time I saw you. I'm going to see you. So I think there was a lot of that there.
And the problem is, again, like I said, we're filming this in February. The season didn't premiere until the last week in January. So at that point, we've only seen 3, maybe 4 episodes. So when we're filming the reunion, we haven't seen the whole season yet. So a lot of the emotions that you saw were people not really understanding what was going to happen later on. We're seeing, they do show us some clips, but we don't see the full episodes until you guys see them. So when we filmed the reunion, a lot of pieces were still missing. And people were reacting to what they thought they know. But that's why you'll see me say, run the film, run the footage. Apparently people don't think that certain things happen, run the footage because it was all right there on tape.
Feelings were running high that day. I would say the cast was so dysfunctional at that point. Like it was so dysfunctional that they had to strategically put us in 2 separate rooms. Like you are in this room because we know you don't get along with those people, so those people don't think. Like we were so divided as a cast that like even production wanted to make sure that we weren't mingling before we were on camera together because they wanted to capture everything. They wanted to capture all of the tension, all of like that smoke. They wanted everything.
And that we definitely got so divided. Like I always say that we went from Ready to Love to Survivor real quick. I didn't know that I was signing up for a reality show where you had to strategize and plan and manipulate and all that other crazy stuff. I thought I was trying to find love. But because people got so strategic and manipulative and wanted to try to shape their own narrative and shape everybody else's narrative, it got so messy that the producers really had to separate
People
us.
were thinking, like, they were looking at going home as a failure versus, like, my person's just not here. People were looking at going home as, like, I think someone called it, like, a walk of shame. You know what I mean? Like, when in reality, you tried something new. Kudos to you. Your person wasn't there. That's fine. May you, like, you know, best wishes. People weren't looking at it from that standpoint. They were looking at it as, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to not be chosen. I don't want to fail. I want to win. And therefore, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that other people are looking bad or other people are leaving early. Or I want to make sure that me and my boo make it to the end. Like, I want us to be the success story of, like, this season. You know, they were so focused on that rather than it just being, like, an organic experience.
Right.
Like, it became, like, definitely, like, Survivor.
Right. I definitely didn't go into the show thinking that I was going to find my husband. I knew that even before the show, I've been dating for, you know, however many years. And out of all the men I've dated, I hadn't, to that point, I hadn't found the one for me. So if I've dated 30 different guys over the last decade and none of them were it, what made me think that these 10 guys during this 6-week period were going to be my one? And so when I went in, I didn't think I was going to find the one, but I did think that somebody would slide in my DMs. Maybe somebody would see me on the show who wasn't on the show and I would meet. But anyway,
I was the opposite. I was so naive. I was like, oh my God, you'll not, like, my friends were like, you know, your future husband's not on that show, right? And I was like, you don't know that. Maybe I'll find someone just like me. You never know.
You never know.
I always thought that. And then, like you, I was like, if they're not on the show, then this show is going to introduce me to them. And so, like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's so crazy. Another piece of tea from the reunion is, by the reunion, me and Walter are already dating.
So Walter was on Ready to Love DC. It was the season before ours.
Yeah. So at this point, him and I are already dating, right? And production finds out that we're dating. And they were putting so much pressure on Walter to show up to our reunion. They wanted him to be like the curveball of our reunion, you know? And at some time, I think he was like in North Carolina. He was somewhere. He was traveling somewhere. And they were like, we need you to come back. We need you to be on this season. We need you to do this, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, Sabrina, what do you think? And I was like, I mean, I don't care either way, you know? Ultimately, we decided against it because we were like very early on. Yeah. And we didn't want to make a spectacle of the relationship because I think we were still kind of like very protective. Like, we did like a cool 6-7 months before anyone really officially knew that we were together. We didn't announce anything, I should say, for 6-7 months. But yeah, the production wanted Walter to be the curveball in our reunion, and we just said no.
Yeah.
More so, he said no. He was like, no, I'm going to sit this one out.
I respect that, though, because like you said, you guys were very new in your relationship. You guys have also been very good at protecting your relationship, sharing a little bit and making sure that you guys are solid before you shared each other with the world.
Yeah, yeah. So and in retrospect, that was the right call.
Agreed.
That was the right call. But yeah, they were definitely trying, girl. Trying. Is there any reunion drama that you felt like surprised you?
The whole Joy thing surprised me. We filmed in February, and right before that was the Super Bowl party. So Laverne had a Super Bowl party at his house. Several cast members were at his house. Clifton and Joy were in Mexico, and I remember Laverne FaceTiming them like, hey, y'all, and we're all waving like, hey, y'all, have fun, whatever. And they waved like I had no idea that there was this major beef against Dakia, you know. And so when I showed up at the reunion, I even said, oh, hey, girl, your dress is cute. And, you know, I got a little shade back. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's been a long day. And then when the cameras turned on and guns start blazing and shots start being fired, I'm like, what the heck is going on? I was caught off guard. I knew I was going to have issues with Eric at the reunion because that was such a sensitive topic. And that episode was just like around the corner. Either it had just aired or was about to air. So we didn't know what was going on. So I knew that Eric was going to have some drama with me. I did not see the Joy and Clifton thing coming because at that point I thought everybody was cool. She was happy. They were together. They were gallivanting in Mexico. I had my man at the time. Like, you know, everything. I thought everything was good.
It was so unnecessary.
So weird. Just like y'all was confused, I was confused.
It was unnecessary. And so childish. A rant about favorite colors.
And they're the oldest ones.
But we gonna talk about
Child.
I'm gonna keep it cute. Anyway. Like, whatever.
Yeah, what surprised you about the reunion?
There was beef that I didn't even know was happening.
Right.
I was like, you know, it's like being on a battlefield and people are taking shots and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I didn't realize that Tina had beef with, like, Paul.
I didn't know.
things like that. Like they had a big beef that like I still don't know what it was about, but like things like that. Like there were things that I was like completely unaware of between people that I was like, oh wow,
it was a lot of emotions, a lot of people storming off, a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing. Like it was an emotional long day.
Yeah,
another long day.
So that was I was like, oh wow, it's not just like the beef that I knew about. It was like the beef that I knew about plus more.
Yeah,
it was like a whole like butcher shop. That's how bad it was.
Was beef. I'm about to go into my Biggie mode in a second. Okay, let me bring it back. After the show was taped and all that other good stuff, when you started watching the show back, did you feel like it was an accurate representation of you and the journey that you had?
No, because I felt like, I was cracking a lot of jokes and stuff like that in my testimonials, you know what I'm saying? I was like super, and I felt like they just picked and choose what they wanted, and that was really unfortunate. So I don't feel like you got to see like my full personality at all. I think that they kind of just showed some of the like hesitation or the conflict that I had, and so I was like, oh, that sucks. So I definitely didn't feel like my full personality was demonstrated. I also felt like the way they were picking and choosing the sound bites, I was like, oh, you're trying to plug into like a narrative that you've already chosen for us. Like that became very apparent as the show went on, and so I was like, oh, you're really making me seem like I'm so conflicted, when in reality in the testimonials
you were clear.
I'm talking about like the good and bad of each dude I was dating very early on, and they didn't show any of that until the end. So
I felt like for me, I think it was a good representation, but I was nervous at the beginning because in the beginning, the first few episodes, I felt like they were trying to make me the sex kitten. So I felt like
you are a sex kitten.
I mean, I am a little bit. I give them a little something, but I felt like they were only showing any comment that I made about sex. I think throughout filming,
they did do that for you.
Yeah, throughout filming, I might have made like 4 sexual references, and I think that all 4 of those sexual references were all right in episodes 1 and 2, and I was like, oh my gosh,
sex sells, girl.
Yeah, sex sells. But I'm like, I said so many other things, but I felt like they were really focusing on me being the sex kitten, but it changed because after that I didn't say anything. They used all the sound bites in the first couple episodes, so they didn't have anything else to use for that. But besides that, I thought that they did give an accurate representation of me. I am fun. I am flirty. I'm a big flirt. But at the same time, I also am classy and sometimes reserved. But I think that it was a good representation. I think that some of the dates and some of the ways that I wish they would have shown a little bit more and a little bit more receipts that could have backed up some things. Yeah,
I wish they would have done that too.
Yeah.
What was your reactions to the viewers' reactions to your episode? Ooh. Because let me tell you, those Ready to Love fans, y'all are brutal.
The Facebook group, I'm going to shout y'all out directly. What is it called? Ready to Love, TV show. Y'all are creative.
Yes.
Y'all are very creative. Y'all are very say it like it is. You do not hold anything back. And I will say, I was the one that I read every comment. I read every blog, every Twitter post, every Facebook group. I read it all. Like
I did not. I was like, don't get me wrong. Like I have a pretty, like, I feel like I have thick skin.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is going to take me over the edge. And I felt like the more that like the character that they were portraying was starting to like come out, I was like, oh, they're making me the villain. Oh my God. So I kind of started to shut it down. I was like, I'm not going to look anymore just to protect my mental health.
Yeah.
But there were a few comments in there, yo, that like, where they were like, getting at me, like really talking about me. And I thought it was funny. Like I couldn't help but laugh because I was like, that was creative. That was a good one. That was a good one. Like, you can't. There ain't no fighting the internet. The internet will always win.
Undefeated.
So I was just like, all right, that was a good one. I'm gonna let y'all have that.
Yeah, it was a couple times I was like, oh, you got me. Touche. I deserved that one.
Yeah.
But I read everything. I got a lot of great responses. I got a lot of hate, So I think that, but that's the world. That's the world we live in. Everybody isn't going to be for everybody. Like I think that our cast, there was somebody to represent everybody.
And I will say that like you did a really good job of like when I started to shut down, like I'm not reading any of the comments. I'm not doing any. I muted everything. You did a really good job of like sending me comments like, look at this person like understands, and you have people out there who like understand you and blah 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 blah.
Because of course I got you, because you thought that everybody was against you, and as your friend I was like, no, sis, some people do relate to you. Some people understand that it's okay for a man to kind of date around and choose. It should be okay for a woman to date around and choose.
So I appreciate that in retrospect, because at that point I was like, I can't even look for myself. I'm still like that, y'all. Like I be all nervous and stuff. Like I can't take it.
And I'm like, girl, here.
I'm gonna look at everything.
I'll be her filter. I'll look at it all and I'll filter it out for you. I got you, sis.
Okay, so the ultimate question.
Okay.
Would you do reality TV again?
Whew. I would totally do reality TV again, but it would have to be a positive representation of Black men and women. Like, I feel like we have enough ratchet on TV. We have enough of the crazy cast and the fighting and all of that crazy
tearing
stuff.
each other down,
exactly.
trying to one up each other. It's just too much.
Yeah, I have so many successful Black women friends that look to see somebody that represents them on reality TV. We want to see that, yes, life can be dramatic. I can show you some drama, but it doesn't have to be fighting and nasty and bickering and he said, she said. Reality TV can still be entertaining and dramatic without all the foolishness. So if we had a show like that, I absolutely would do it without question. But if it had to be the fighting and the back and forth, I'm not here for it.
I feel you. I would love like living single, when we're not single anymore, but like, you know, or like girlfriends, you know, the reality TV. I don't know, something like that would be dope. I always said that I would do something like The Amazing Race.
You would do that?
I would do The Amazing Race. Like in a heartbeat.
I ain't built for it.
I would do like an Anthony Bourdain. Like, I want you to eat this exotic cuisine. I would do that too.
Oh girl, no.
I would do all of that stuff. Like, I'm down. Like, I'm down to do all of that. That would be fun to me. It's like these, like, you know, live for the story. When else am I going to be doing stuff like that? You know, so
see, that's you. I ain't
tell
doing
my grandkids, like, yeah, backpack.
You would eat all of them crazy things, and
I mean, I think so. I think I would have to make someone else eat it first. Like, show me this is edible. Don't set me up.
Nah, I'm out. I'm out.
This is edible. You know
Don't make me climb no mountain, no amazing
I would do all of that.
no Survivor.
I would climb mountains.
I would do it. Of course, I have a dance studio. For those of you who don't know, I have a dance studio, Dance Dimensions in Forestville, Maryland. I would do a dance reality show, but not like Dance Moms, because Abby Lee was a little crazy. Don't come for me, but she was on a whole nother level. I would do a dance reality show.
But that dance world is vicious.
Oh, it's no joke.
I was like, goodness Lord. There's always someone coming out that their kid was dismissed because of like petty reasons. I'm like, Lord.
Dance moms are crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Some of the teachers in the studio, I know I can get a little crazy too. But the whole world is definitely dramatic. It's entertaining. I think that would be a good reality show
I think it would be
without the trauma of dance moms.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, I think that reality TV, like it depends. Now looking back, would you do Ready to Love over again?
I would do Ready to Love again, but I would need to remember and know what I know now. To know that, you know what, some people are not taking this seriously. I think that
I would do that. Yeah.
I did in the beginning. I thought that everybody was genuinely looking for love. That was my naive moment.
But like, would you do it again, just not having any heads up? Just do it all over again.
Yes, because I made some amazing friends. Yeah. I got you. I got my boy Tori. I got AP. A good percentage of our cast members, and even some of the cast from previous seasons. Yeah, you know. So I would totally do reality TV because of the network and the friendships I found. I didn't find love romantically, but I found love and a lot of amazing people, and so I would do it again. Yeah,
same. I would do it again. I mean, if it wasn't for Ready to Love, I wouldn't have met Walter. Like, we just don't run in the same circles. I don't know if I ever would have met him. I wouldn't have met you. Would have met Carrie. Would have met so many people. So like, I would do it again for that reason. Like, I always say, like, who would have thought I would have to go through that mess to find like my person? Who would have thought I would go through that mess to find like new genuine friends?
Yeah, I guess sometimes they say you got to go through mess to get blessed. So there you go. Go through the mess.
There you go.
And then you get blessed. I'm gonna drink for that one.
Okay, let's cheers to that one.
Cheers. Blessings out of mess. Yes. Okay. So speaking of drinking, let's play a game. Okay. So this game that we're gonna play is called Sip or Spill. Okay. So we're either going to spill our tea about a certain thing, or if it's something that's a little too sensitive that you don't want to talk about, you have to take a sip. So we're either going to spill our tea or we're going to take a sip and keep it cute. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go first.
You going to ask me first?
I'm going to ask you first.
All right.
Okay. Have you ever been out in public and ran into an ex and tried to like turn the other way and avoid them?
Yes. Well, ex is a strong term. Someone that I've had
acquaintance.
Entanglement.
Oh, okay, Jada.
We weren't like together or anything like that, but had we been very flirtatious and dated and kind of, you know, whatever. Yeah, sure, you know. So I ran into that person in public before, and I was on a date at the time.
Ooh.
And I remember seeing them in the restaurant and asking the waitress, like, sit us on the other side, please. You know what I'm saying? Like,
far away.
I was like, I want to sit over there. You know what I'm saying? And I made it some excuse, like, I want to sit over there away from the window. Who says that? Who says they want to sit away from the window? I want to sit away from the window. But anyway, while on the date with the new guy, you know what I'm saying? The old dude comes up and, like, because he sees us, it's not a big restaurant, and sparks a conversation. It's like questioning me and my date, like, how was your night? What are you guys up to? How is this doing? And, like, sets his, like, drink on the table. And it's just like standing
there cozy,
and like the dude I'm on a date with is like looking at him and looking at me like, what is going on here? And he was like, there was no indication that he was like gonna stop. He was like getting very comfortable. I was like, if he sits in this chair, I am gonna lose it. So finally I was like, how is your wife? How are your children? Like, as a way of being like, dude, you are married.
Right.
Like, we have not talked to each other in God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that event, he gave me this look like, oh, for real? You just gonna bring that up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm married. We're children now. And so, anyway, that made him like, you know, go away. So I was like, thank God. So that was probably, yeah. So that's not quite an ex, but like someone you just don't want to see.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I don't think I've had that experience. I don't think I've run into an ex. Believe it or not, I'm actually friends with a lot of my exes.
I can't stand that.
You can't stand that? What do you mean?
I don't understand how women are friends with exes. That's not your friend.
Okay, so
that's
let me be clear.
Ex.
Yes. So some of the guys that I dated weren't bad guys. They just weren't my guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying friends that we're like hanging out and talking on the phone or anything like that. But if I ran into them, I'd be like, oh, what's up? How you doing? How's life? You know, I don't think that.
So we just gonna act like we never had sex before? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what
I
we're gonna
don't
do.
know what you look like naked.
Okay. Forget it. It's forgettable. It's forgettable. Yeah. Don't bring up old stuff.
Oh, well, that's something. He's like, it's forgettable. And that's why they're exes, because it's forgettable. Boom.
Touché.
All right.
Well, no, not all of them. Not all of them.
Okay.
But yeah, so I have not had the experience that I would run into an ex. Well, depending, I don't think, honestly, I have a couple bad exes that I would not want to run into. But for the most part, if I ran into them, I would speak. I don't think that I would avoid them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. You're so nice.
All right. Times.
So, next question. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, I got a few.
You got a few?
I got a few. I mean, I appreciate the artistic beauty of God's creation for a lot of men. I'm just saying. No, okay. If I had to go to one dude, I'm gonna have to keep it old school. I'm gonna have to go with Boris Kojo. He is my celebrity crush from years ago into today. He is like the prototype.
Can I tell you, he has gotten cuter to me over time.
Oh my gosh, that man is fine.
At first, I was like, his head shape kind of bothers me.
I love a nice bald head.
Well, of course,
clearly,
you're married.
I actually made one of my exes shave his head.
Really?
Because I wanted his head to be bald.
Interesting.
He did it.
His head shape used to bother me, but you know what? I love that he can speak German.
Oh, Dankeschön. Wait, did I say that right? I think I spoke German. Hey, Dankeschön, don't that mean thank you?
I don't know. I love that he can speak German because that's something you don't really hear a lot of black men speak, first of all. And then second of all, the love that he has for his wife and the way that he shows up for his family, like the way that I've seen, I was like, oh, you're so cute. So it's made him cuter over time to me.
Yeah, I loved how he showed up at Howard. Shout out to Howard, HU. To see his daughter while she was away at college.
Yeah,
he showed up.
Cute.
Yeah, super cute. So
great girl dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love Boris Kojo. Yours.
Mine is a little stereotypical too. I'm gonna put Idris Elba out there. I just think he continues to get finer and finer.
Another man with an accent.
Yeah. And I think if you're black and British right there, I'm melting. I'm like black, British, and beautiful.
Come on, it's the 3 B's.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. So I just feel like he just gets better and better, like with age. I'm like, wow, you're just so fine.
I can see that. He's not my go-to, but I would like to just listen to him speak.
I'm also gonna be honest with you. I don't think like there's that many like men in Hollywood that I really like swoon over. Really? Like I don't have several. Like there's only a couple that I'm like, okay. Another one who's newer, who I really think is cute, who we met, was Tyler LaPlay.
Oh, yes. We ran into him at Kitchen Crate. Shout out to Kitchen Crate, Black-owned DC. Yeah. This isn't even sponsored, but I'm still shout out Kitchen Crate.
Because he was there, and he's actually cute in person.
Yeah. He was so cute.
He's cute in person.
Good.
He's not short. Well, you know how you meet a celebrity and you're like, oh my God, they're so short.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a shorty, I don't want a shorty.
We're both short, but we don't like shorter guys.
Our men are tall.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's not short. This is great. And he was super respectful because, you know, he's in a relationship.
Yes.
So he wasn't like eyeing the girls. Anything. Like, he was just there to kick it and have a good time. He was friendly and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay. So he's a cutie.
Yes. Liked him, respected him.
Yeah. He was a cutie. So that's another one that I'd be like, all right. Yeah, you're hot.
Okay.
You're hot. Those are my like,
Okay, another one. What's the worst date you've ever been on?
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. So like once, I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I had met this dude at the YMCA. Don't ever meet a guy at the gym. They just trash. They trash.
I dated
every single
two
guy
trainers.
they're trash.
They were both trash
every time. Anyway, so I met a guy at the gym, and he was on me for a while. You know how he's like, oh, you're not lifting that weight right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
he wanted to spot your form.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, leave me alone. Anyway, so he wore me down eventually, and I was like, all right, let's go on a date. And so on the date, he's like texting vigorously, right? And I'm like, everything okay? And he's like, yeah, everything's fine. And I was just like, okay. He's over there, you know, the phone's like to the side and stuff like that, whatever. And then eventually, I think I caught like a glimpse of the phone and something like my girl or something like that. And I was like, I literally oh my gosh, rolled my eyes so hard. I'm surprised I didn't get stuck in the back of my head. And like, and stood up and like walked out. Like,
really?
Yeah. I was like, And he got him. He was like, what's wrong? I was like, why don't you ask your girl what's wrong right now? And like, literally just walked out.
Wow.
Walked out. Like, it was like something out of a movie. Like, tried to get a cab because this was like before.
You know, your Carrie Bradshaw.
Before Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to get a cab back to my house and stuff like that.
This was in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was probably like the worst date I ever had. And to be honest with you, like, I wasn't even really trying to be on a date with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just kind of wore me down.
Accidental date? Like, you just slipped and fell up on a date? Like,
I was like, all right, you funny. Let's go. If you're funny and witty,
okay,
I'm gonna like end up being like, all right, let's see what's up. Because personality goes a long way with me.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How about you?
My worst date. So I'm in my like early 20s. I think I'm early 20s, maybe mid 20s. And so I'm en route to the day. We're going to TGI Fridays. I know it's okay. I like Fridays. I'm bougie, but I ain't that bougie. I'll go to Cheesecake Factory.
I still go to Cheesecake Factory.
Exactly.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing.
They have a great turkey burger. I'll have you know.
Options.
I like their stuffed mushrooms.
Options. Yes. So anyway, so we're going to Fridays. And I'm already en route. I'm almost there. And he texts me, or no, I think he calls me at this point because like I don't think we were texting back. I'm dating myself. But anyway, so he calls me and he's like, oh, my babysitter fell through. I'm going to have to bring my 2-year-old daughter to the date with us. And I'm
absolutely not.
But at this point, I'd already driven across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. I'm in Virginia. I'm committed. Like, we're going to this date. I'm going to get my mozzarella sticks.
I would have been there by myself.
Right. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he brings the little girl today. He was fine, though. I ain't even going to lie. Dude was fine.
I was just going to say that. He must have been fine.
Oh, he was fine. Tall. You know, we just talked about we like the tall guy. Yeah. You know, I like to climb trees.
How tall was this guy?
He's about 6'5".
Damn, you like him real tall.
I like him real tall. I mean, I'm one of the tallest women in my family, so I'm only 5'3". I like to try to give my kids, well, back when I wanted to have kids, I wanted to give them some hope, you know what I mean? But I digress. So I'm on my way to Fridays. I pull in, I'm sitting there, right? I already get there. I get there before him. And so he walks in. I ain't gonna lie, the little 2-year-old girl, she was adorable. She was cute.
And he made cute kids.
He's tall, he's cute. He made cute kids. So, but she's sitting there. So the waitress comes, and the waitress is, oh, your daughter coming to me. Your daughter is so cute. What does she want to eat? She ain't mine. What your daughter want? And the little girl is crayons and drawing, and she throwing the crayons, and I'm trying to pick it up, and the waitress is like, okay, well, does she want this? I'm like, okay, we look like we're on a whole family dinner date right now. I was like, you know what?
I bet y'all were cute though.
It was cute, but I'm in my early 20s. I'm not trying to be stepmom. So that was the last time I saw him. He was fine, but it wasn't worth it.
So what is the most drunk you've ever been?
Okay, so this is sip or spill. I got to decide if I'm going to sip and not tell you or spill my tea. The drunkest I've been was my 35th birthday. So my 35th birthday, I was actually engaged back then. And 3 weeks before the wedding, I found out he was cheating. canceled the wedding, but they weren't going to give me my money back for the venue.
Bastards,
right? And that was a lot of money. So I ended up turning the wedding into my 35th birthday party. But it was so emotional. I will say that was the drunkest I've ever been. Because it was so emotional, I had to get drunk just to make it through. It was supposed to be your wedding. Yes, in the venue I was supposed to get married in.
You're supposed to be saying, I do.
Yes, exactly. So I was drunk as a mug. Thankfully, my village, shout out to my village. And you wanna know what's funny? My now husband was at that party.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's a whole nother story. My now husband actually walked my ex out of my house and helped me change the locks. But we'll have to talk about that on another day. But, yeah, that was the drunkest I've been. My 35th birthday party / almost wedding.
That's wild.
All right.
So funny is that I'm going to spill as well. Mine was my 35th too.
See, something about 35.
It's a horrible year.
Because you're in your 30s at that point.
You're right in the middle of your 30s. And I think there's a lot of expectations about what your life is going to be like at 35, which at least for me, I had those expectations. And so my 35th was my first birthday post-separation or divorce. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, trying to celebrate even though like my life was falling apart. You know what I'm saying? Like I hadn't spent a birthday by myself in over 10 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, this is weird. And so I had a good like community that rallied around me. And I think that they knew that I was going through a lot. And so everyone just kept on buying me shots. Like, shot, let's take a shot. I don't know how many freaking shots I took that night.
But you ain't but this big. You can't take but so many
shots. I was gonna try that day. Because the way that I was feeling, I was just like, I just need help. So I remember just getting like so trash because all these feelings about like I'm 35, I'm back on the market, I'm back in these cold like dating streets. I remember feeling like now I'm in the age of geriatric pregnancies and I don't even got a man. Like I was saying, it was like so many things that were like going through my head of like I'm starting from zero. You know what I'm saying? And so at least it felt like that at that time, and I felt like all hopeless and shit. And so I ended up trying to drink my worries away, drink my woes away, and I got so sick. And I remember it was the after party. You know how when you've been partying all night, they're like, let's go get something to eat. And so we went to go
keep the party going.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go get something to eat. And by that point, I was so sick. And I remember I started feeling it coming on. I was like, I'm going to throw up in this restaurant. And I remember I was like, I cannot throw up in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I remember like walking outside. I had it together that much. I walked outside. But, like, you could still kind of see me when I was walking outside. And I ended up throwing up in the street. And, like, I felt like the restaurant could see me through the window. Right. But I did not throw up in the restaurant. So that's all. I was
kept it cute.
I kept it as cute as I could. I was like, that's it.
Tell me one thing about you that you don't want your mom to know.
No, I'm going to sip on that one.
You're not going to spill it?
No, because I still don't want her to know about it. Love you, mama.
That's funny. So I'm a spill, but honestly, it's kind of not spilling. I might have to take a sip anyway because there's nothing about me that my mama doesn't know. Like,
I love that.
I know. Like, my family is a very open family, open, inclusive. We talk about everything. We talk about sex. We talk about love. We talk about religion. We are just free people. We have people of all types of people in our family. We have people in the LGBTQIA plus community. We have people that have been in and out of jail. We got crackheads. We have a little bit of everything in my family. Mm-hmm. So we believe in just being free and just living your truth and living your life. I mean, because if the world ain't going to accept you, at least you're going to be accepted with your family. So there's literally nothing about me. And I've done some things, but there's literally nothing about me that my mama don't already know.
And I'm honorary, so
yes.
I'm going to go to the next family reunion.
Yeah, if you don't tell your mama, you can tell my mama.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like my mom and I are finally getting to that place where I could talk to her about other things because she wants to have that relationship. I think that I was the eldest daughter and I have a younger sister, so she was just kind of like, I don't know, trying to mold me, make sure I set like a good example. There was a lot of expectations there. So our relationship was like a little bit different. But now that I'm adult, I think she wants to like get closer to me on all those levels. And I'm still kind of like working my way there.
But you're grown.
I know it is. But it's like when you've spent your like life not really sharing aspects of your life with your mother. Yeah. And then for her to be like, oh, now like, you know, you're grown, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I respect it and I do let out. It just doesn't come naturally. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Okay. It's just something I'm working on.
We'll work on that.
We're working on it. This most recent holiday trip, she was like, so...
Oh, she asking questions
now.
Yeah,
I was like, don't be asking something about my sex life. Okay, so what is your toxic trait? Are you gonna sip or are you gonna spill?
I'm a sip.
What? You're gonna sip? You're gonna sip?
I'm a sip.
Even what about an old toxic trait that you've overcome? I have one. I have an old one.
Okay, you go ahead. You do it.
Okay, I'm gonna spill. So I had a toxic trait of like wanting to make my boyfriend jealous.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Like I used to do things to intentionally make them jealous so that they would feel like, I guess in my like immature head, that like I wanted them to feel like other people wanted me as a way of like, you got what I'm saying? But really all it did was like foster like mistrust in me, and so like I had to learn that like if you're acting like you're doing things, people are gonna think you're doing things and they're not gonna trust you. You know what I mean? When really it was like stemming from insecurity. I just wanted you to feel like you had a bad bitch. So I would like do things that like attract attention from guys and stuff like that. And I had to learn the hard way that like when you do that, guys' emotions are on the line and they will do some crazy shit.
Guys are more emotional than they let on.
Yeah.
Like, they a little...
Yeah. And I had to learn that, like, that's not okay. So that's, like, a toxic trait that, like, I had to do. Like, I got through like, therapy and stuff like that.
Amen to therapy. If you're not in therapy, find somebody to talk to.
Yeah. So...
Because everybody in therapy is dealing with people that aren't in therapy. So...
Yeah.
Find a therapist.
I'll tell you. So I was like, I still have a few more toxic traits, but I'm gonna sip.
Sip. We ain't got to go there. I'm gonna keep it cute.
Yeah. You ain't gonna say
I'm gonna keep it cute.
Okay, fine.
I'm gonna keep it cute. And on that note, we hope you guys had as much fun as we did. This was our first episode, sis. Come on, King Leaders. Hey. So we hope you had a good time. We can't wait to have some more fun with you guys. We have a lot of great episodes in store. Be sure to tune in every Monday.
Yes, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We also have a very good special announcement coming up on one of our episodes. Be sure you tune in then.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Keep it cute.
Keep it cute.